Yo, welcome back to the Locks Lounge with your boy, your host, Tim Nicholas. Tonight I am super excited because I am here in Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, a little suburb in Fort Worth and Dallas called Arlington. And I'm telling you, with your boy not being from here, it's still kind of new to understand different places in Dallas and Fort Worth. But nonetheless, we are here in Arlington, Texas tonight, where I'm with my boy, Damian Henderson. What's up, Damian?
How's it going?
What's going on, man? Now, let me just tell y'all a little bit about my boy Damian over here. Damian is a 40-year-old master barber and groomer from Fort Worth, Texas, so he's a local guy. Man, you know, he's a stylish brother, as you can see. He got the tight suit on, you know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, he's definitely doing his thing out here in the community, just trying to make his stamp, his claim, and trying to make his claim to fame. So,
say less.
Yes, sir. So, very happy to have you on to the show, man.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, you know, just tell us a little bit about yourself, man. Just tell us how you became a barber and just a little bit about yourself.
Grew up in Fort Worth, born and raised. Just in and out of different jobs around the. I think who was that? We had Bill Clinton first. It was like I could get a job. I was changing jobs like draws. So, but then soon as Bush? Soon as baby son Bush got in. Oh man, it took me like 3 weeks, maybe a month to find a job.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I got to do something different. My mom and my girlfriend at the time, they were like, why don't you go to barber school? Because I've been cutting hair since high school.
Okay.
So they were like, why don't you go to barber school? So I was like, okay, well, let me try it out. So I go, and 17 years later, I've been in the game like that.
And killing the game out here.
Yeah.
Man, I remember maybe about 4 years ago, I came to you as a client, man.
I remember.
And of course, I wasn't locked up or anything at that point. Then, you know, I definitely had that even Steven Caesar around, you know, and you definitely hooked me up, man. So I remember back then, I think that was the first time that I had like enhancements or heard of enhancements, you know, during that time. Yeah. So, you know, it's just crazy how the barber game just has evolved over the years.
Definitely evolved.
You know, even with enhancements, like tell people about that, man. Like even how the game has evolved into like enhancements and stuff.
You know, a lot of people think it's just for people who are receding or bald headed, but these youngsters like it. I have youngsters come to me and they like, hey, you do the black spray, you do the outline of the edge up with the pencil, and I'm like, yeah, I got you, man, I got you. So it's definitely trending amongst the youngsters as well as the older people. People just want to look good and feel good. You know, some people disguise it, you know, maybe for a mess up, but me in particular, I mean, I do the lineup first, then I go back over with the enhancements to make sure I got it proper. But I even do it on myself. It makes my edge up sharp and crisp, so I like it.
Hey, you know, my brother Love, after he gets the haircut, when you have that white line going in between, you know he done got you sharp. So, you know, I get it completely, bro. You want that sharp line.
Right. What they say when you come home and the woman's like zaddy and stick her tongue out.
Yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, we want that. Yeah.
That's real. You do. You wanted to lick the line off, honestly.
Right,
you know, and that's true, man. You know, you can relate to this. Guys like us, we want to look good. When we look good, we feel good. And when we feel good, we're more productive.
True.
You know what I'm saying? So, you know, with you being a barber, you know, you also seem like you into like fashion too. So, you know, tell me about that a little bit.
My mom was a fashionista. My grandmother was a fashionista. So, I mean, what do you expect from me to be? As a mama's boy. So, I love fashion. She always told me dress to impress. You never know who you're going to meet. Same thing was instilled in me when I went to barber school. So, they tell you the same guidelines. So, and true, you just never know. Celebrities come in, you know, you just never know. I think that, like you said, it boosts your self-esteem. It makes you feel good. Even if you don't feel good, when you put on clothes, it just takes you to another level. You may not feel 100, but at least you feel better than what you initially did. So yeah, I just love fashion. It just I don't know, man.
Yeah.
And especially a tailor-made suit. It just do something to me.
Man, it does something to me too. Just
Right.
just to put that slim fit on.
Right.
And it just, even when sisters, right? Prime example. Sisters will find the dopest dress to wear I'm gonna cut this out. Sisters will find the dopest dress to accentuate their curves.
True.
They want to show it off. They want to be sexy, right?
True.
So even as men, it's okay to wear tailored suits to show off the physique and things like that. It's cool to do that.
Right.
And I think too many times we done had to wear everything a little loose
Right.
to kind of hide that and camouflage it. But it's like, nah. If I work for it, I'm a show.
Right.
True. So that's just, so I get it. I understand, man.
Yeah.
So it's dope that you really came from a generation of fashionistas who taught you the game, but also, I feel like, they prepared you for a cultural stereotype that sometimes we wear as not being dressed to impress, not being, attentive to the crowd and how we should conduct ourselves. And, I think you debunked in that, as far as the cultural stereotype.
That, yeah. I think, and I set the example because a lot of my clients, they look up to me. Mm-hmm. So me showing them another way, pull up your pants. It's cool to wear your pants on your waist. It's cool to wear, clothes that make you look like somebody. Instead of that hood mentality. And I grew up in the hood, but I'm just not hood. I remember somebody told me, I tried to holler at this girl and she said, I told her my name and she was like, I know who you are. Yeah, you're the bougie brother. You didn't want to come outside. Because all my brothers, they would go outside and play with them.
Okay.
I really wouldn't. And it had nothing to do with them, but I knew my environment. So I was like, okay, let me stay inside because I know what's out there, in the 90s, it was really heavy in gun violence and gang activity. So, but just to give those guys a positive influence. And that's a part of the package. You have to be able to show them an example in a better way.
Yeah. Shout out to you just for how you conduct yourself, out in the streets, man. And I think one of the things that you talked about was really sticking to how you conduct yourself and being able to teach other brothers how to do that. Mm-hmm. Knowing that, hey, it's okay to be a bougie brother.
Yeah.
I'm a bougie brother too.
Right.
I grew up in the hood. Grew up where there was gang violence and gang activity and violence and all those things, but I wasn't a part of the same crowd. Mm-hmm. So it was easier to distance myself from certain people and just know, okay, I can say what's up to you and connect with you, and no beef, no fade, no nothing.
Right.
Good, no shade or anything, but I just can't roll with you because I'm trying to go somewhere different.
Right.
I don't even know where I'm going, but I know I ain't trying to go there.
Say less. Yeah, that's definitely not the route I'm going.
Nah. I'm like, dog, I can't do jail. I can't.
For real. And growing up in an area where I have 3 brothers, and all of them have been incarcerated for something other than a traffic ticket. Mm-hmm. And I've been incarcerated, but it was traffic tickets. Mm-hmm. And I knew I didn't want to go down for anything other than that. So I just made a conscious decision. I remember, and I did get sucked in at one point. I was maybe, middle school. Tried to be a Blood. Freshman year, tried to be a Crip. My brothers, they were Crips. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I looked at myself. I really had an epiphany just looking at myself. Summer going to be a sophomore, I remember. And I looked at myself and said, you're a buster. And for y'all that don't know, buster means you're a flip-flopper. You tried to claim one, and you tried to claim the next, so they call you a buster. So I told myself, I said, you're a buster. And from then on, I said, let me try this pretty boy thing. Mm-hmm. That's what a lot of guys did. That was just another group of people at the school. So I said, let me hang with that crowd. And so I did that. And it was the best thing I ever did because I made better decisions. And Because if I didn't, wouldn't be here, you know, talking to you. So
yeah, that's real. Man, that's real, man. Shout out to you, man.
You know,
doing it out. He was kicking it with the pretty boys, man. But hey, you know, that meant that you knew what path you didn't want to go down.
Right.
More importantly, so
right.
that was the right decision for sure.
It was.
For sure, man.
It was. It really was.
So, man, you know, just appreciate everything, you know, as far as just letting us know who you are and just, you know, just getting the chance to get to know you a little bit better for sure, man.
Cool, I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. So just going back to it, man, you know that we all know that barbershops are, you know, the cornerstone of the community, right? You know, they serve its purpose in so many different ways. So, you know, tell me, man, what was your barber experience growing up? You know, something that really had you into the place where you said, yeah, I got to get into this a little bit more?
You know, it's crazy because I really didn't have a moment like that. It was just, and my aunt, where I went to get my haircut, my aunt, she owned the shop, and but she had so much clientele, I could never really get in, so I would go to another guy, but he was just as good. I wouldn't say, yeah, I'll go ahead and say just as good, yeah.
Just as good?
She was cold. She was cold. And she was an elderly lady. She had a ponytail, gray hair, and she was like really good at I think at 60 at that time, yeah. So shout out to my aunt. But I think my most gratifying moment, because me as a barber, I try to, and as a Gemini, I'm intuitive. So I'm always trying to learn, because my job is to learn to be able to better assess my clients' issues, because they always tell us their problems.
For sure.
So my clients tell me their problems, and I'm an advocate for marriage, and I'm an advocate for parents staying together and training the kids up the way they're supposed to be or go. So I had this one client. He literally, it almost brought tears to my eyes, but you know, they tell us as men not to cry. And I don't know if I've adopted that principle to where I feel like when I want to cry, I can't cry. I just don't cry.
Just don't know.
One tear almost came down, but I held back.
You held back from it.
But he told me, he said, man, if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have graduated. And man, you don't know what that did to me, because then that let me understand that this is my purpose. I was told growing up that I was going to be a preacher. And so I was like, I don't believe you. You know, most of us don't believe what they assess us to be or say we're going to be.
Absolutely.
So I said,
it's like, I don't want that anointing. Don't put that on me.
Yeah, I'm in these streets. I'm in these streets. I'm not going to be no preacher.
Nah.
But I feel like the barber chair is my altar in my pulpit, and I get to preach life into my clients. So when he told me that, that let me know that this was my purpose, and that, like, again, even though it's not in the pulpit at the church, this is my altar, this is my pulpit, and I really try and teach my clients the best way. I mean, you know, I don't push myself on them, but if they ask me questions, but I will say, I do push myself on them, because if I get in a teaching moment, a mood, it's on.
It's a wrap.
From the beginning of your haircut to the end, I'm a talk and I'm a preach. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. But I love my job. I love my job for that reason alone. Is the main reason I love my job.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. You get to connect with so many different people in so many walks of life.
Yeah.
So based on your walks of life and experiences, you get to be able to use this altar to be able to preach down to your clients and say, look, these are the different things that I've experienced.
Sure.
You know, you're going to make your own decision regardless, but at least you got some type of experience to back up what you're about to do.
Right.
You know, so, you know, I think that's real big. And we come to barbers, we come to hairstylists and, you know, people in the beauty industry because we know that y'all have experienced a lot of things, and that you've also can tap from other people who have experienced things that come to you too.
I teach my daughter through other people's experiences. I'm always telling her, this is what I try and use it as close related as like my siblings, somebody that she knows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what happened. Don't do this because this will be the outcome, or this is what will happen. So, and it's worked out so far. She's very receptive to the things I say. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I train or teach her. Yeah.
That's dope, man. That's the. How old is your daughter, by the way?
She's 15.
15.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's a freshman at Lamar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's dope, man. Shout out to you. Got a 15-year-old, man.
I do.
Man,
Yeah.
hey, them girls, man, we hold them they real close, man, real tight.
We do, and it sucks because all the dirt we did, all the dirt we
Listen.
did, and we sheltered them, and we try and make sure that they don't meet a man that was like us in our younger years.
Man,
Because I was hell.
man, I was too.
Yeah, dang. Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, I get it, man. I was hell too, you
Yeah.
know, and you know we like that.
Yeah.
It's that dog in us.
Yeah.
And we don't want our daughters to even experience even some of the things that we did.
Right,
You know.
right.
So, I mean, the best thing we can do is, even as the Bible says, we train up a child as they should go, in the way
True.
that they should go.
True.
And they won't depart from it. So I think it's real that we continue to do that.
Yeah.
And they'll make the right decision just based off of how we teach them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, the rest is up to God on, you know,
Right.
how things play out.
Right.
You know,
But I
so,
definitely don't stress myself.
yeah.
I try and make sure I did teach her the best way I can and let her make her own decisions. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, man, for sure. So, just thinking about something that you touched on. You touched on how marriage is important to you, how family is important to you. I want to go a little bit deeper and talk about black families and black marriages, right? What I have noticed, even in our community, is that our community is weakened because parents are splitting up, because it's a lot of single mothers out here that's taking care of children, even specifically boys, and there's not a lot of the discipline factor in there. There's not the masculinity part, so that's lost in translation, even when it comes to how a father connects with his son and with his daughter. So there's a lot of different things that are missing, the different dynamics that's missing, right? What do you think we can do as far as a community to change some of these things that have plagued our community as far as staying together and all those things?
Well, I can start out by saying this. Like I said, I'm intuitive, so I'm always trying to learn different things. It just said we went up to 73% of two-parent households as of recently. I just posted it on my page, I think last week, either earlier this week or late last week. So that's a good thing. But I think that we all know what slavery did. It changed the roles. It put us in the back and the woman as the head to raise the kids. If you've ever read Willie Lynch's letters, then it'll really give you perspective on what was done. So, and it's crazy because I ask my clients, have you ever heard of Willie Lynch? Mm-hmm. Man, you'll be surprised the answer of so many people that have never heard of him.
Really?
Man, it's just crazy. And it's due to a failure in the school system, but it's also due to a failure in us as parents, because we're not intuitive enough to learn about our history and learn what was done to us and learn even about our culture in Africa to even be able to properly teach our kids.
Right.
So first of all, we would have to get the roles to be reversed. A man by design is a provider. A woman by design is a nurturer. So when you understand these things, you have to learn. Women have to learn men. Men have to learn women. There's a pre-genetic predisposition that's in us. We can't help it. So when we align ourselves in those roles, then the family structure will get back like it's supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And it takes time, and it sucks, man, because just as long as it took 300 to 400 years for as we were enslaved for 300 to 400 years, it's going to take that, maybe even longer, to undo what was done.
Yeah.
So this is a psychological thing, and they play it well. They play the game well. So we, in turn, have to learn psychology and learn how to reverse it. So, but the main thing will be we have to relish in our roles and play them well. And once we do that, everything will start to fall. Self-examination is critical.
Yeah.
I remember just for my future wife, we're engaged.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
I remember she asked me a question years ago, and she said, if we didn't have a child together, would you still marry me? And I said no. And I elaborated and said, because you're not the same woman I met. What I look for in a woman is spirituality first. It's a lot more, but my main three are spirituality, ambition, and family oriented. Because if you align yourself, I'm Hebrew, by the way.
Okay.
If you align yourself under God's law, man, and abide by that, and we sinners, we gonna all fall short. That's understood. But try your best to align yourself with His word, man. I promise you, it'll work out in your favor. So she says, I told her, I said, she just wasn't ambitious. She was changing jobs, and for the longest, I don't know, maybe a year, she didn't work. So I paid a lot. I paid all the bills anyway. But I paid some of her, like a car note or insurance, or some of the things that she was initially supposed to take care of on her own. I ended up taking care of it. I'm like, I'm already paying all the bills. God, dog, I got to take care of you too like that? I was like, sheesh. So, man, when I tell you she got in the word, and it took a while, but I gradually seen a progression.
Right.
And a change. And I saw, as the time went on, I saw her spirit. She got more in alignment with her role as a mother and as a woman. And I was like, heck yeah. I could see myself marrying her now. At the end of the day, beauty, money, a lot of these things that are fleeting bears nothing when it comes to a man's peace.
Of course.
When a man has peace, that's what he desires most. So I don't care how fine you are.
How fine?
Nothing. None of that matters. So she aligned herself, and I think it was the year before last I got engaged, and we're supposed to get married this July. But I think
congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Big time.
You. And I'm an advocate for family.
Yeah.
I grew up in Eastwood.
Okay.
I don't know if people know where that is, but it's in Fort Worth. And people, I see a lot of Hispanics moving in on my block. And they have the family structure down pat. The people 2 houses down from me, they it's like the whole family. And the kids are grown because they're like my age and they still live there.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that's about. But I'm just saying, one of my homeboys told me the biggest bank accounts that he sees is Hispanics. And he said because they all compile their money.
They all put it together.
And that's what we need to do.
And gifting too.
Yeah.
They gift all back to each other. Whenever there's a need, the whole family puts up for it.
Yeah.
That's not something that's common in our community.
Right.
We are taken from one another.
The Black American, not the African.
Not the African.
The Black American. We gotta look at these other communities and cultures and ethnicities and just take heed to what they're doing. We gotta start doing it. And which is the main thing I said initially. Living in your role. When you live in your role, then we can flourish like these other ethnicities and cultures.
Right.
Communities.
That's real.
Yeah.
I like that, man. That's good.
Good.
Hey, spoken by a true man who knows his community, his history, and he knows his worth over here, man. Shout out to you, bro.
Thank you.
All right. So, man, I got a couple of questions just to ask you just about, what you do and just you being a master barber and groomer, right?
Okay.
So, how did you get into the barbershop business?
It was by default. I was cutting hair at home. Then I lost my job, went to barber school. So So to backtrack a little bit, I used to always go to the barbershop maybe like once a month.
Okay.
So I needed a haircut. I thought I was fly.
Yeah.
So I wanted a haircut more consistently. So I would go to my cousin up the street, and a lot of times when he didn't want to be bothered, I would have to cut my hair myself.
Okay.
I was like, okay, well, he's in the other room, he can fix it, but I'm not gonna wait all day for him to cut my hair.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's how I got started, and I got good. I started cutting my own hair. I was walking to the park one day. A guy says, he was a younger guy. He said, "Hey man, who cut your hair?" I said, "Myself." He said, "Man, can you do me one?" I said, "Yeah, I got you." So boom, next thing you know, I'm like cutting up the whole hood.
Yeah.
You know? So then from there, I was in and out of different jobs. Just didn't really like the jobs I had, you know. Changing jobs, just changing them. And so finally went to barber school, and it worked out for me. I mean, I love what I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing it up big too, because you've been in it, what, 17 years now?
17 years.
Yeah, man. 17 years right here.
Yeah.
So it's been sticking for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big thing too.
Yeah.
You know, and since you've been in the game for 17 years, but you know, you're working for yourself, you know, what does it mean to you to be a black entrepreneur?
It means a lot. You know, everybody's not gonna want to own their own business or be an entrepreneur, and that's understood. And that's okay. You know, sometimes a lot of people want a safety blanket, because stepping out, being an entrepreneur, you don't get any paid time off, so you have to work. And I work 6 days a week. So
Yeah.
I think all black families should be backed by a LLC. I believe they should be backed by insurance, and you definitely need a will. There's a lot of other components that you need, but those essentially, because that's how you pass down generational wealth, through those avenues. America is a business. We're a capitalistic country. Who gets all the breaks? Who's winning? Companies. Get your LLC, black people. Get your LLC. It's essential for you winning the game, because this is all a game, and you got to learn how to play it. So do that, and I promise you, just the chips will align where they may once you get those things that I mentioned underway.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get an LLC. You have to be backed by some sort of ownership over your family, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
Getting an LLC, even if you are not business savvy, it doesn't take away from the fact that if you ever need business credit, if you ever need to be educated on this LLC, or if you ever need to get a certification, if you're a minority, there's the Minority Business Enterprise, certification. I think it's the Minority Business Women's Enterprise. There's different avenues that you can have, because you just never know what may happen in this economy if you have just a job where someone's paying you.
True.
You know, you have to have multiple streams of income to, like Damien said, generate to promote generational wealth. Excuse me.
Yes.
So if you want to cultivate that within your family, you know, to build generational wealth, you have to be able to take certain avenues, building the LLCs, investing in stocks. You
Definitely.
know, have to do that.
Yes.
You know, if you're wearing the products like Nike and, you know, Polo and all those things, you need to invest in it. Look at stocks and dividends.
Yeah.
You know, and start seeing you can get paid once a quarter.
Right.
To, you know, to be able to invest in stocks. So it's different avenues, like you said, that we can start looking at from a business aspect.
You know how many people won out the PPP loans because they had businesses? And I know for sure anything